And welcome everyone to another Community Starcraft event brought to you by Logan. This is the Starcraft 2 or SC24Life Silver and Bronze League tournament. This is the second game of the second round of the winner's bracket. So in the top left-hand corner of Discord 4, we have the yellow Zerg player SpeedySS. His opponent in the bottom right-hand corner of Discord 4 is the orange Zerg player Kirli. Now, if you recall from the previous games, SpeedySS won his first game quite decisively against King J with a 9 pool that was very aggressive, whereas Kirli has actually played two more. He's played an additional game, defeated Nibbling with some Muta at play, and moved on ahead further in the tournament to end up here. So Kirli has a little bit more tournament experience now, twice as much, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. But this is actually a 2-player map, and it's a little bit bigger than the last one that has been played on. The things to note about this map is that because it's a 2-player map, you share a base. You actually have a free expansion inside if you'd like to. Also, the choke is relatively narrow, and you have another base outside that's also relatively easy to protect with these little, almost Zelnaga Caverns-esque entrances, although with one extra to the side that makes it a little bit more difficult. We do have early scouts from each of them. We do have early pools. Kirli a little bit ahead on the pool. It looks like it was a 12 pool. Also throwing down the gas geyser earlier. It looks like he's going to be going for a little bit faster speed. And it looks like SpeedySS not going for a 9 pool this game. Which, when I heard that this was a best-of-1 double elimination tournament, I thought for sure we'd see nothing but 9 pools, 4 gates, and 3 racks builds, or even proxy racks. But as it turns out, SpeedySS is the only player that I've thus seen with any sort of cheesiness. We do have an Evo chamber going down. It's a little bit early, considering there's no gas yet. And to make use of an Evo chamber, you need to have gas. So that's a little bit early, but preemptive buildings, never a bad idea, just maybe not the most optimal idea. The first 2 lings for Kirli is going to chase down and take out this drone, while we do have a few lings in production by SpeedySS himself. Got 4 of these guys, you have 2 more on the way. It looks like he might try some early pressure, although I think he might actually be able to save this drone. It just depends on how he decides to use these. Here they come. Oh, and it looks like he's purposely going to sneak around. He knows that everything's chasing his drone, and instead wants to... Oh, no, he was thinking about going ahead and surprising, but he's now going to be revealing his true intentions. We do have a Roach Horn going down for Kirli. That's what this gas has been used for. No speed went down. He's instead saving for Roach production. And we do have a Baneling nest going down for SpeedySS. So both of these players definitely understand how ZVZ is supposed to be played, and it'll be fun to see. This is going to give me a little bit of trouble, because yellow and orange are very similar to the same color, and watching Speedling Baneling battles in almost the same color could be quite interesting. Okay, so we have 4 lings. On 4 lings, the defender's advantage should go to Kirli. He has the reinforcements with the roaches, and now this should be all she wrote. Instead, this should be basically just an advanced scout. Were any units lost? Nope. Kirli defended that quite well, and none of these drones even took any damage. So the army size is actually just a little bit in favor of Kirli. Nothing super crazy, though. And now we do have some lings running their way across the map for SpeedySS. But if you look at the unit count, you'll see that Kirli is actually quite ahead. His army will be getting much larger here in a moment. We did have those 2 Zerglings getting taken out, but now are being morphed into Banelings. But remember, Banelings, while excellent against Zerglings, are not that hot against roaches, unless they're super clumped together and you have a lot of them. The worker count is actually almost identical. Both of these players sacrificing some of this early game economy in order to go ahead and kill the other guy now. And we do see one of the reasons that SpeedySS is behind. He invested 300 minerals and another... This is a very safe expansion. It is even at the back of his base. It's very safe. He just doesn't right now have enough workers to utilize it. And it looks like SpeedySS is a little bit slower on all of the larva injects as well, which means he doesn't really have enough larva to produce much of anything. He only has 2 larvae. He's not going to be able to produce enough units, I think, at this time to take out this big attack from Kirli. So all the lings finally popping out, the queen getting focused down, the roaches, however, just simply not getting hit. And with the reinforcement roaches, we do have 2 banelings coming in. Should take out a lot of these zerglings, but I don't see how SpeedySS will be able to deal with this. This one base aggression from Kirli is doing quite well. He is focusing down for some reason the baneling nest. Not entirely sure what's going on there. However, with the amount of army that he has, it looks like it should be all she wrote for this game. So, very interesting game. There you go. That's how banelings are supposed to work. Much better against everything else. However, roaches, they just do so well against zerglings because they start out with 1 armor. So they take only 4 damage per shot, and they don't take additional damage from banelings. And we just have continued rallies of units, the injects from Kirli being spot on. That was actually probably one of the most important things in this game, to be completely honest. The unit counts were similar at the beginning, however, as the game went forward, Kirli simply had more units. And remember, for Zerg, larvae are an additional resource. Zerglings are quite good. However, they are also very cheap with minerals, but they cost a lot of larvae to get an army that will actually do anything. And to be able to support lots of lings, you either have to be spot on with injects and continuing to get those additional larvae, or you need to have additional production facilities like a macro hatch. So, it looks like this one, the control was pretty similar, the APM's almost identical, but it looks like we're going to see Kirli, thanks to his little bit better mechanics, moving on in the tournament. While SpeedySS will be knocked down to the loser's bracket, but once again, it's a double elimination tournament. This is his first loss, and he's already made it pretty far. So good luck to both of these players as they continue, and we